If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Good morning, good evening.
Yeah, good morning to you.
Okay. So yesterday we had discussed the basics of our BRF Plus, correct? Today, some more topics that we have to cover about the basic part also. Moreover, it's BRF Plus basics plus the workbench related topics as well. Okay. How exactly the BRF Plus works and what would be the couple of topics that we need to find out or we need to discuss that once we started development of our application, then what would be the points that we need to take care. Let's take an example, best practice. We used to call them as best practice, right? So some of the points that needs to be taken care before starting the development of the applications. Yes. One more topic that we initially we need to discuss, but no problem. We'll start from today itself also. Topic is BRM, Business Rules Management. Okay. Instead, before that, before BRF Plus is when SAP HANA was introduced in 2015. BRF Plus would come into the picture in 2015 with HANA technology. Initially in ECC, BRF was there, only BRF, not BRF Plus. And before BRF technology was introduced in somewhere 2007 or 2008. And before that, BRM will work. BRM was the original object, that not the object, BRM mechanism we are using into the system. So what exactly is BRM? Business Rules Management. So all the baseline of all three objects are the same. We have to manage the business rules. But there's a limitation of all the objects. BRM would come into the picture based on the paper-based rules management. So we are mapping paper-based, like our, let's say, take example of leave policy. Every organization has its own leave policy. Let's take an example, Maruti Suzuki. Okay, so Maruti Suzuki had a leave policy of earned leaves, 20 earned leaves. We are just taking an example. 20 earned leaves, for example, employees, 15 casual leaves, 5 medical leaves, 1 optional holiday, and bereavement leave, 2 bereavement leaves, and some advance leave, 20 advance leaves, of 100 unpaid leaves or 200 unpaid leaves, like that. Some quota is there.
That is kind of a project we're implementing right now for time accruals or balances. We're implementing a project using BRF Plus.
Okay, great. So, and you are managing times and based on your employees' time sheet also?
Yes, that is right.
That would be integrated, right?
Yes.
Yes, got it. Thank you so much. So initially, all the policies, all the business rules are on paper base.
Okay.
But organizations were facing the issue that how we can implement those rules into the system. So SAP had come up with the solution. Okay, we'll try to implement. We'll give some solution to implement, like managing of the TMGs, table maintenance generator. So that was also that TMGs were also get designed in such a way, like from the developers, so they can behave as a decision tables. Some decisions they can worked upon, they can with the help of the TMG, with the help of our variance maintenance. But the thing is, rules were in extensively we were not able to implement. Why? Because all are the objects that were built under the BRM concept that were completely in intake by the ABAP objects. There is no separate existence, no separate integration once you start working on a particular policy, so that policy is completely restricted to the particular object.
Okay.
And again, if you are working on same policy on another object, then you have to write the new rules.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, rules is nothing that if and if other conditions, same like that, same thing we are going to do into the BRF also. But thing is, once we implemented same policy into the BRF Plus or BRF, that can be reusable by any ABAP object, but not
Okay.
into the BRM. That
Okay.
was completely restricted to the individual object. Then we have to go for again and again, we have to write that rules.
Mm-hmm.
Then BRF would come into the picture. BRF has the biggest thing is the interface was not available. How you can design your rules? Again, the limitation is we can design the same application. Reusability is also available with BRF Plus, and it's
Mm-hmm.
Web Pro based application initially.
Mm-hmm.
BRF Plus is also Web Pro application, but the thing is, reusability was also not there. The integration point is not there. Flexibility of moving the changes was not there with BRF Plus. Let's say we can make our changes into customizing TR, and we can move our TR to the production system. That was not available with the BRF. Again, more features would be required by the organizations or by the customers. Then they have introduced the BRF Plus.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they have integrated the CMS mechanism also. So initially in BRF Plus, what we used to do, we download the application as an XML file. And then if we are going to the, let's say, quality or production system, in quality, we will again open the BRF Plus or BRF workbench and upload that XML file. Then we are able to adopt the same functionality, rather than using the CMS mechanism or transport mechanism. We are using import and export of XML files, like in Java based applications. We used to do like that. Java or JavaScript based applications. We are importing some file from one system and we are uploading the file, coding file or application file to another system. Then the biggest thing was, the loophole was the tracking of the application. Because if we integrate CMS mechanism, we can track each and everything. We can track the versioning of the system, right? We can make the versioning of all the applications. If biggest complex applications are moving from one of the development to quality system or production system, and import and export phase, using the import and export functionality, we are not able to track that who had responsible for the last changes, who had made some mistake, so we can rectify. That would not be possible. But in CMS, because we are using our standard transport mechanism, that we can track easily that this is the developer or this is the functional who had created customizing TR or workbench TR, and he had saved some functionality, and we can track easily that what could be the reason that why they had made changes and moved to the production. Correct?
Yeah.
So that's the history of the BRF Plus.
Okay.
The integration part. Integration part is the BRF Plus comes with the integration also. Let's take the example. On one hand side, BRF Plus, if you remember that in enterprise portal, EP services, we used to develop either SOAP services or PIPO services. Then initially, when timing and payroll was not available in SAP, that time enterprise portal services with our non-SAP developers would develop a new time-based applications, timesheet applications, and with the help of PIPO or SOAP services, we used to get integrated the data of employees with the SAP system, either the dumping of data, either the flowing of data from SAP to enterprise portal service.
Okay.
So then BRF would come into the picture. BRF had its own API generation functionality. We can, once you are develop your application, that application had a feasibility. You can integrate same application into the backend of the system like SAP. In API management, with the help of API generation, we can integrate same application to the non-SAP world also.
Okay.
We can consume that system generated code. But however, because it's had a feasibility that it can work, it can provide you a protocol based XML based files, XML based metadata. What is now? We'll discuss what is metadata. The XML based profile, XML based application it will generate. So web based, that is code generation, and API management, that is for the non-SAP world. So same application will interact with both of the side. As one left hand side SAP system, right hand side non-SAP world. So you can leverage that functionality. The integration, it increases the integration with the same application.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Just now we had discussed the UI part. So BRF Plus had a great UI. It's a based on Webden Pro based application. Okay, it's not right now. It's not Fiori based application. It currently as it is Webden Pro has the base of the UI designing. Because that is the FDT _ workbench. That's a Webden Pro application name, or that is completely based on our Webden Pro architecture. MVC architecture, we can say that. Yeah, one more thing, metadata. Why I was talking about metadata. So metadata is about data. That was the first time concept has been released with the BRF Plus, because BRF Plus was the only application who generates the metadata. In HANA, we have come along with the CDS, AMDP, OData, and the BOPF. All those applications are also available. But initially, BRF was the first tool that were implemented based on the metadata concept. What is metadata? Data about data. Let's take an example. Pernur. PA0001 Pernur. Okay. Pernur is your metadata. And employee number 001, 002, that data we are saving into our PA0001 table. That is data. Our technical domain, technical field or technical architecture of that particular data is the metadata. Like your personal area, personal sub area, position or unit, employee name, e-name or w name, like these are all these technical fields. These are the metadata for the non-SAP world. In SAP, we used to call them as a technical fields. Correct?
Right.
But when it's come to the XML architecture or JSON architecture, it behaves as a metadata. And the actual data is the actual name of the employee, actual Pernur of the employee ID of the Pernur. That is the data. So when we read the XML based applications or JSON applications, what browser start reading the metadata of the file. What could be the architecture? Then it will start reading the exact data of the file. Same goes in our SAP ABAP also. Whenever I'll write my select query, I'll not read the values of the table, correct? I'll read the fields of my table. Select Pernur from PA0001 into my LV Pernur, right? But the only thing is about the how we are verbiaging both the things in SAP or non-SAP world. The second thing is the expansion of the application. Metadata increases the expansion of application in the sense because SAP has its own limited world, right? Limited applications, limited tools are available. Nowadays, I'm not talking about nowadays. Initially, till the ECC was there. So limited set of rules, limited set of application, limited set of our infrastructure is there. So there's a limited interaction point with the non-SAP world. We XML based and Java based applications had reached the visibility or the integration of the SAP with non-SAP world.
Okay.
Because we are more interacting with the other technologies also, and that was also the demand. In future, cloud is about to come. More powerful databases are about to come. Organizations were aware about that, they have to evolve with the new technologies, and they are seeking for the more integration, more capable features, more API based features, so they can leverage the same. They don't have to opt the another ERPs into the market like JD Edwards or other Workday like that. So they can go with the same technology with the new expanded features. The in UI based in application, no need to write a single line of code when we generate a SAP BRF Plus application. We will not write a single line of code.
Okay.
That's why BRF Plus is able to is provided to both of the consultants, technical as functional.
Okay.
So any functional member can design a BRF Plus application. Any technical person can design a BRF Plus application. But the thing is, most of the times what happen, end users are also try to develop the BRF Plus application. But SAP suggests that applications would be delivered by either functional or technical. It should not be developed by the end users, because the reason is end users are the point is they are not aware about the technicalities of the SAP system. They are just users. They are just screen users. They just provide the data and click on the save button. They are not aware about how the system will work, how system behaves at the backend. So they are not actually consultants. They are just users. So it should not be developed. They are the end users. They will use the application like any other application, but they will not develop. They can leverage the functionality, but they cannot become the owner of these applications. This next is because we are interacting with the crucial financial data. FICO is one of the biggest module in SAP, and everything is about the money. Everything is about finance, right? In the system. So it could be the chance they can mess up with the some of the financial entries. If they had started with the let's say even they had started with the simple application like approval of timesheet, and if something is broken, timesheet is not approved on the time within the time frame, then what could be the worst scenario? Employee will not get his salary. This is the worst scenario. If timesheet is not approved, then who would face the loss? Organization will face the loss, and employee will face the loss. So because of those severe points, SAP had suggested not to provide the expert mode. There are two types of mode. I will come to the mode also when we start developing the application. Just provide the basic mode to the end users, and expert mode would be taken care by the technical and the functional team members. Now, what is technical and expert mode? Basic and or expert mode and basic mode. Basic mode is simply that I can access the application. You can access the application, you can provide your inputs, and you will get the output. Simple. You will not able to generate your code. You will not able to generate your APIs. You will not able to generate your download the files. You will not upload the files. Nothing. It's like that. Simply, I am using the standard SAP standard object. I cannot do anything. I can just provide the inputs and I can get the outputs. Okay. So expert mode is the actual mode. You can say that SAP had provided access into access, like a developer access. Developer access separately they have provided for the BRF Plus. So expert mode is the developer mode that you can make the changes into the application. Okay. Now, what we had discussed, yesterday we had discussed the expressions. Expressions are nothing like decision tables, formula, decision trees that we were discussing yesterday.
Okay.
Integration. BRF Plus integration is now able to integrate. Let's take an example. One more. This is the example that we had discovered while implementing the GST. Okay. So our client had multiple systems.
Okay.
So they were for 4 ECC system and 24 JD adverts. The collection of 28 ERPs. Okay. And they had in JD adverts they had implemented the GST because the JD adverts are the capability of the XML JSON feature. So they are directly retrieving the data from the government websites, the latest tax rates. But SAP doesn't have that feasibility. So they were expecting that we will develop a single application, either in central finance we will develop, or in SLT system we will develop, or MDG we can develop, or either one of the ERP, ECC. The same end user has the requirement, I'll change my tax rate in one of the application. And whenever I will try to utilize my same tax rate in other ECC or other ERP, other source system, which is somewhere used by the another team in another part of the world, the same rate will come into the picture. Same rate will get reflected to the particular transaction in another ERP also. And user will get changed at once at a time into the one would be the source application. So that time what we had done, we have implemented one BRF application, because initially rates were the hard-coded rates were provided. And nowadays APIs are also, GST APIs are available. We can directly leverage them and we can fetch the real-time data. But initially the rates were hard-coded. So what we have done, we had in one of the ECC system, we have develop a BRF Plus, a BRF application. And we had provided access to the end users with the help of the RFCs. Because decision table we had called the decision table BRF application into the one of the ABAP program and schedule that ABAP program as a proxy object.
Okay.
Connected, and the same proxy object we had integrated with the another ERPs, another ECC systems. So whenever the synchronous call will happen from another ECC system, so that application is calling, let's say ECC2 is calling to ECC1 with the PIPO service. In ECC we had implemented PI class. In PI class we have called the BRF application with the given inputs and outputs. So that's how, so whenever a user will make changes into one BRF application, all other 3 ERPs are getting the same level of data. And now, rather than generating BRF, we have the proxy object, we can directly generate the BRF Plus API. So we don't need to depend on the PIPO service. We can directly provide the API to SAP users or non-SAP systems also. So they can directly consume the API and everyone start getting the access. The dependency had been reduced from the PIPO or SOAP services. So we can directly leverage the function. This is the biggest feature that I had personally observed that. So same application can be shared by the multiple systems or multiple environments also. Yes, benefits that as we had discussed, it improves the collaboration with the multiple systems, reduce our time consumptions, reduce the efforts of the end users. Agility, it will decrease by how you can say that decrease the agility, that we don't need to develop the same application again and again. We don't need to write the same rules again and again. So everyone needs to be aware that a single application is available, that we can leverage that functionality of single application in any of the system or any other landscape, and we can start working on using that. Compliance, with the help of CTS, compliance will also come into the picture, that we can track the activities of the BRF Plus applications, who had made the changes, why they have made the changes, we can track them. Correct.
Yes.
So okay, now come to the most important architecture. When we start, these are the 4 points that we have to keep in mind when before developing the application. BRF Plus application completely consists of 4 main major points: rule modeler, rule repository, rule engine, and integration. Why they had provided 3 rule rated objects, rule repository points? Because this is the framework which is designed especially for the rules. Correct. So rule modeler, rule repository, rule engine, and integration layer. Now we will discuss one by one. Modeler, this is the first part. Rule modeler. Rule modeler provides you the interface, and that interface is workbench based, that is FDT underscore workbench. So it provides us the interface, it provides us the landscape where we can generate our application, we can edit our features, we can create our code generation, we can develop our APIs, we can download the files, we can do the CTS mechanism, we can switch to from basis mode to the expert mode. And we can control our technical object. So we can design our application, that is rule modeler. Repository. Central repository had been provided by the BRF Plus. And the same, whenever I try to run the BRF Plus transaction into our GUI, so same time it will trigger all the BRF Plus applications, which are either it could be standard applications delivered by SAP or the custom application that we had developed. Plus it will immediately call the rule repository. Now what is rule repository? If you remember that we used to call the ABAP repository or services repository. SAP had its own multiple repositories are available. Either it's a ABAP repository, it's a service-based repository, or document management system, that the DMS repositories are available. So one more repository they had introduced, that is rule repository, which is completely restricted for the rule management of the BRF Plus. Okay. So whenever I call the BRF application, let's say I'm calling SC38 program. I'm just calling a custom program SC38. So what exactly happens when I call the SC38 transaction? Entire SAP system knows that this is the particular user, Goldie is the user, and he is calling SC38. It means he is trying to find out something ABAP object. He's trying to access some ABAP repository.
Okay.
And if I call the S proxy transaction, the particular session will switch that this transaction, Goldie is the user, S proxy is the transaction, is trying to find out something from the enterprise service repository.
Oh, okay. So you mean like with the structural authorizations?
Yes, it will pick the structural authorization. Yeah. Along with that, system knows that on one session, he is accessing the ABAP repository. On one session, he is accessing the enterprise services repository. If I go to the DMS, so system knows that particularly at given period of time, particular point of the time, my user is accessing the repository. So it balances the load of the users. So if someone is same time, if you try to access the same transaction, we had there's a locking mechanism of SAP, right? If you try to find the PA20, PA30, there's another user will not able to edit the same employee. Correct. So locking mechanism and backend locking mechanism works based on the repositories. It completely locked out the repositories. Then only based on the objects, then your locking mechanism will enter the picture, and then we are able to access the applications. So uh, generally ABAPers used to write only the basics of the lock mechanisms, but when it comes to the database level locking of the objects, uh, it will become as a NQ and DQ feature of your repository. So we cannot lock the database, because if we lock the database, the system will fall down. We are just locking down the repositories of that particular object. So particular object will get locked. You will complete your activity, you will save the transaction, and automatically object will get and de-released from the repository. And if I lock the database, only you will able to access the database. No one able to. Even on one hand side, you are creating PA20 employee, you are editing some employee master data. On one hand side, I am creating one sales order, and employee had one of any other web developer had put lock onto the database. So what would happen? You will able to change the master data, but I will not able to create the sales order data. Because you had come first. So database is locked for yourself only until unless you will release your transaction. I will not able to create this. Forget about the sales order. I will not able to run my transaction VA01 also, because VA01 is saved my database, and my database is completely locked by you. That's why locking will come into the picture and to the repository level. And so now the thing is, why SAP had not used the ABAP repository? Unlike it's just an ABAP object, right? BRF Plus is web info base. It's nothing like the object, technical object. So why they haven't used the ABAP repository? Why they have created the separate rule repository? Thing is, again, same application we have to use the multiple places, and ABAP objects has a limitation. It's not possible to leverage the same ABAP object in multiple places until unless it is designed for the reusability. Correct? Let's say function module or class. Function modules and class are designed in such a way that we can leverage the same function module anywhere into the system. Classes are designed in such a way that we can utilize the class in any of the ABAP object, but not SE38 program. We cannot call SE38 program into workflow. We cannot call SE38 program into the body. We cannot call SE38 program into the user exits. That's why they had come into the feature. Rules would be separate, because they always with the part of the reusability. 100% they can be reusable. Any other application, same rule can be used by multiple BRF applications. Same rule repository can be accessed by the one application. Same rules can be accessible by the multiple target systems. Next point is rule engine. What is rule engine? Rule engine is the component that you can say that like a machine. Because in simple layman language, treat it as a machine. Okay, you are giving some inputs, machine is working, and it's giving you the output. So engine is working in the same way. We are giving the context. BRF Plus context is your inputs, result is your output. We are giving the inputs. Engine is working, doing some calculation with the help of expressions, either decision tree, formula, or decision tables, or select queries, or it could be anything, and doing some processing and just returning your output. Rule engine is the collection of rule sets, rules, expressions, inputs, and outputs. So first thing, whenever we start the rule engine, BRF Plus will start the rule engine. First, it will check the input parameters. It will check the rule sets. Then it will check the rules. Then it will go for the expressions. then it will generate your output. This is how your rule engine works. Let's come to the integration layer. Integration layer, as we had discussed, we can integrate the same application to the multiple business processes, or known as SAP world also. It depends upon to us that how we want to leverage the functionality of same application with n number of scenarios. Use cases, define business rules, deploy and monitor, and test and validate. Same like any other object, create a new object, gather the business requirement, which is identify use case, create new application, new ALV report, define business rules, test and validate by the technical unit testing by the developer, and functional testing by the and system testing by the functional team members, deploy it to production and monitor. Same like any other web object. Everything is same.
Okay.
Identify the use case means identify the business policies from the end users, because those are the use cases. Create your business rules, create your business rule sets, leverage the functionality of expressions, get your inputs, get your outputs, and integration. Simple, step by steps. Validation, test and validation with your test data provided by the end users also, or we can generate our custom data also for testing that functionality. Then with the help of CTS mechanism, deployment, either it could be the deployment to the quality or any other application or any other landscape. Yes, in deployment, let me tell you, I initially remember that I had discussed the import export functionality, right? Importing file into the XML, and the same XML will file get uploaded to the another quality system and development production system. One of the biggest benefit, one of the loophole is that we cannot track that activity, that who had made the changes and who had deployed the application to the production, because there is no CMS mechanism. The best advantage of that import and export functionality is, let's say you had developed this BRF Plus application in ECC. Okay. Now your organization had decided to move to your system to the S4HANA. Okay. So, and while migrating your custom objects to S4HANA, you can migrate your ABAP repository objects only. You cannot move your enterprise repositories. You cannot move your master data. You cannot move your transactional data. Like it's not like that. Migration activity is the complete different theory. We go with the LTMCs and LSMWs, BDCs. That's a separate thing. But you have to develop the new object in the target system, right? If I am migrating my master data, I have to develop a new object, either a BDC, either LSMW, or either I will go with a rapid migration tool. Correct? The new object will come into the picture. If I am migrating my ABAP code, then both system needs to be integrated and my custom code migration Fiori application needs to be triggered. Only then I will able to move my code, ABAP, existing ABAP code. Now, what about the rule engine? Who will take care of the rule objects? If my application, my 28 ERPs I am using, so I had defined 500 BRF applications. How would I migrate them? The thing is export import functionality. However, we do have to do it one by one, but mechanism of moving from one system to another. At that point of time, I'm completely aware that as a technical architect, I'm completely aware that we are migrating from the server. We are migrating to the new technology. Entire ECC is migrating. So at this point, I'm aware that we are migrating 500 applications. But moving into a single landscape, development to production, that would become a difficult point. But right now I am moving all the objects. So I'm aware that we are moving from one system to another. So we can download all the files. We can upload the same files into the new system. I'm immediately within a matter of seconds, my application is available, ready to use.
Okay.
Don't write that ABAP piece of code. Generally, what is happening in migrating ABAP ECC code to the S4HANA ABAP code? We have to run the performance check because there's of the latest syntaxes. Latest open SQL statements are available. So when we are migrating from ECC to HANA, so lots of checks we have to validate before adapting that code into the HANA database. So only then we are allowing to move the object. Otherwise, the object will not allow. It will stay into the ECC system. Either create a new one or make the changes as per the HANA database required. Otherwise, let it be. We will develop a new object. But that is not required into the business rules. Now, why it's not required? Biggest question. Same application which is running onto the ECC also, and same application we are trying to run onto the HANA also. Biggest question is why it's not required? Why no checks are required? Without, even if I migrate some master data, let's say employee master data, I have to do some data massaging. I have to do some data validation. Without validating, I will not move any single master data item to the production, to the S4HANA system. Correct? So, and in BRF, we are moving a technical object. Still, we are not making any changes. Still, we are not validating anything. Why we are not validating anything? Biggest question is BRF Plus applications. As I said earlier, we are not writing a single line of code. We are just designing the application, and application is adopting the features as per the system. If application is designed on the ECC system, then it's adopting the technical features of the ECC. If same application,
but there'll be a little bit of customization, right? In case if the standard thing doesn't work.
Yes. Well, we are coming to the standard point also. So in ECC, there standard applications are there. In S4HANA, standard applications are there. We will download the latest version from the SAP support launchpad. We will download the latest version of applications as per the HANA versioning. Custom, we are just deploying we are downloading from there and we are uploading here. Now come to the custom fields, which are not available. Right? If I have developed my BRF application and some of the custom info type fields are not available, then what could be the wrong? Same goes like for the ABAP program also. The first activity, enhance the info type, only your ABAP piece code will work. Correct?
Yeah.
Same goes for the BRF Plus also. Technical artifacts should be there. DDIC architecture should be there. Doesn't matter data is available or not. DDIC architecture should be available for ABAP objects also. DDIC architecture should be available for our BRF Plus application also. Until unless those are available, we cannot start leveraging that. And that's generally we do. Before going for the new system, the first part is the DDIC structure. We have to map the structures of both the systems. This is the first activity ABAPers will do. Either creation of the new info type, either enhancing the existing standard info type features, or creating the new ones, or enhancing other sales transactions, or enhancement is the first part that we start working with the new system. So that's how our landscape will work. Yeah, end of the today's session is we have to leverage the single point of source, single object into multiple ERPs, multiple places, multiple objects. So any point of time, I'll change my data into one place. I can change my functionality in one place, and that can be leveraged by the all the other technical objects. So we can, why reusability? I'm talking about the reusability because the thing is, policy is not defined for one person. Policy is defined for all the organization members. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Purchasing is one of the process. So yesterday we had discussed the same process also. So till 10 lakh rupees, my my senior manager can approve and PR can be released to the vendor. Till 50 lakh rupees, my general manager will able to access. On above of the 50 lakh rupees, like 1 crore, 2 crore, 3, 4, 5, 6, it could be anything, any number. Only my CFO is allowed to take the decision. So that's a single way. There's a single policy is designed by the organization, and everyone has to follow that rule. Correct? There is no if and if condition is there. This is the rule. This is the policy. 10 lakh rupees manager, 50 lakh rupees general manager or PR manager. Above more than 50 lakh rupees, CFO would be the approver. This is a standard rule. And even CFO is on leave. They have to approve that. They have to access their laptop or whatever the device they are using, mobile, tablet, laptop, desktop, whatever it is. They have to either accept that or they have to reject that. They have to take the decision. But this is the policy. It's not possible that CFO would forward his workflow item to Goldie. Is subordinate charge. It could be the chance that he had shared his credentials to someone and they are approving with the help of that. That could be the human interchanging that we can do that. But at the end of the day, who is approving? The CFO. And that's the standard rule. So same policies needs to be executed into the entire system rather than implementing one by one. Say one more example. I'll give you one more example. Let's say in project system, we are creating revenue projects, cost projects, bench projects. Okay, 3 type of projects we are creating. Example. And I am billing my resources. My resources are working for some another organization like Cargill. They are working for Cargill on some implementation project is going on. My 500 resources are working on that. And I have to bill to the Cargill. And all these 500 resources are allocated to the revenue project. Timesheets are also getting filled and approved by their managers, Cargill managers. The same timesheet we are uploading into the ECC in our CATSGB database or whatever it is. That same data we are uploading here, and we are getting that while publishing my sales order. Instead of material, what I am billing? I am billing employees because I have to create a sales order for my material. And what is the material for me? Because I am not producing anything, right? Material for me is my employee. My employee, I'm selling the services of my employee. So instead of material, I'll provide the employee number, but employee number it will not accept. So there is a separate mechanism mapping of employee to material that we can use that employee as a material, and we will generate a sales order. But that's a standard feature that we have to use. Single rule that we are using. So same employee we are leveraging into my project system. Same employee we are leveraging while my creating sales order. Same employee in purchasing. In purchasing, if I go to the purchasing, sir, what I'm purchasing from the market, I'm not purchasing any material. I am purchasing the services of an employee, of an individual person from the market, as a vendor, as a contractor, or as a subcon employee, or as a permanent employee. So in purchasing module, as a material, employee would become as a material. In sales, my material, the same material will flow to the sales, and I will sell the same material to the different customer. If I am generating some revenue, then it will leverage into my revenue project system. It will reflect as a project revenue project cost, for that particular employee into my project system. And what's the core data? That is my employee, which is employee master. So that's a standard rule we can define. If I go for the actual material, same how material will work. That's how BRF application would work. Same leveragation, or you can say the same, verbiages might be different. Same reusability feature that we have to implement into the entire landscape. Doesn't matter single ERP, doesn't matter n number of ERPs. So organization want, if I implement my one policy in one system, that should be applicable to my all the landscapes. I'm not going to ask to another system, okay, why this is not implemented? Why my same policy is not working in another system? Why my same policy is not working in another system? Because business rules, policies, terms and conditions, what could be the another words also, might be I'm not aware, but all these baseline documents, baseline words, baseline conditions should be applicable to all employees, all business structure, all line of businesses, all standard infrastructure systems. That's why entire BRF Plus would come into the picture to streamline the policies of the business into the system. Okay.
Okay.
So I hope it gives you more insights. What is BRF? Why BRF is used? How we can leverage the functionality of BRF, and the pros and cons of BRF and BRF Plus.
Yep, that is certainly helpful. Thank you so much.
Great. So I had requested. Did you get the access?
No, I didn't get any access.
Okay, so I'll do one thing. Actually, I had requested Aditi today morning itself, and she is trying to check the access. Okay. Tomorrow onwards, we'll discuss the FDT workbench, the UI interface. How we will start the interface part, that how interface looks like, how we can start leveraging the functionality. And one more thing, Shrisha, I want to understand that first thing, what would be your preferable choice? You will go with the first custom application, or you want to see some standard applications also?
I think let's start with standard, then go to custom applications. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do one thing. Once I got the access, I'll try to access some standard applications. If applications are not available, then we will download in session itself. We will download the application from the launchpad, and we will upload the functionality, the standard application to the BRF, and then we will see how standard applications looks like. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, if you're trying to like show me something, like just keep in mind, show something in reference to the HCM system.
Yes. Only HCM.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for the day.
Yeah.
We will connect again same time.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.